2021 is over and it turned out to be a pretty good year for games. We got the return of a few old friends along with the arrival of some new ones. With another year behind us, it's time once again to look ahead to the games coming down the line. We've put together a list of our most anticipated titles of the upcoming year. These are the games we're looking forward to the most and will definitely be playing in the coming months. We can't cover everything here, so this is our short list of games coming out in 2022. With all that out of the way, let's get started. Starting us off at number 10 is Sifu, a beat-em-up action-adventure game developed and published by French studio Soulcap, whose previous installment was their debut title Absolver back in 2017. You play a kung fu student who must embark on a lifelong mission to hunt down a group of 5 assassins who brutally murdered his family. The game is set in a contemporary Chinese city and is mostly grounded in reality, although magic does exist in the world. As you die in battle, you are resurrected as your older self, giving you the ability to learn to become a better fighter. Sifu will have players battling enemies with their fist, feet, and whatever's in the environment. The art direction is breathtaking to say the least, with a very distinctive look. It's almost like a moving painting. You will be able to test your skills on February 8th when Sifu releases on PlayStation and PC. Over at number 9 we have Tunic, a fantasy action-adventure game where you play as a fox exploring a land filled with lost legends, ancient powers, and ferocious monsters. Mostly played from an isometric view, allowing players to maneuver around the game's world interacting with objects and fighting enemies. If necessary, the player can switch from a more top-down view to combat. The game is structured similar to that of Breath of the Wild, with progression limited to certain areas until players can collect a new weapon or ability to use. Tunic has been developed by one person for about 6 years and was heavily inspired by that of the Breath of the Wild series. Publisher Finji gained interest in the title and offered to help publish and refine the game, putting to use some of the experience that they had gained in preparing mods for the PlayStation VR. You can explore, fight, and unravel long-lost secrets in Tunic when it's set to release March 16th and will be available on PC, Xbox, and even Mac. For our number 8, we have Forspoken, an action role-playing open-world game in development by Luminous Productions, a part of Square Enix. You play a young woman who is teleported from New York City and finds herself trapped in a breathtaking fantasy world of Atia, where she will have to learn to use her newfound magical powers to survive in order to find her way home. Players will have abilities like scaling walls, vaulting across canyons, and leaping from crazy heights, along with an arsenal of customizable spells. Forspoken was revealed in June of 2020, but little has been released about it other than its synopsis. It is turning out to be an impressive showcase for the power of the PS5. Everything shown so far looks gorgeous in high detail. This is one you're definitely going to want to keep an eye on. Forspoken hits PC and PlayStation on May 24th.
Moving on to number 7 is Pokemon Legends, Arceus. At least I think that's how it's pronounced. This is the latest installment of the franchise from Game Freak. It blends action and exploration with the RPG roots of this long-loved series. Explore the natural expanses to catch wild Pokemon by learning their behavior, sneaking up, and throwing a well-aimed Pokeball. The game is set in the Sinnoh region long before the events of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. For the first time, the player will have to dodge and roll to keep from taking damage directly from wild Pokemon. If the player takes too much damage, they will black out and lose items stored in their bag. Players can recover at base camps, which are positioned all around the overworld, to recover health and assist the player in many ways, like crafting items such as Pokeballs, smoke bombs, and more by collecting apricorns, berries, and the like. Many people have been calling it Breath of the Wild with Pokemon. We are very much looking forward to these long-awaited game changes. Arceus is a Switch exclusive, and you can catch them all on January 28th.
Number 6 is Horizon Forbidden West, the sequel to Zero Dawn from 2017, an action-adventure role-playing game developed by Guerrilla Games and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. Players will continue the story of Aloy, a young huntress on a quest to the arcane frontier known only as Forbidden West. She is determined to find the source of the mysterious plague that kills all that it infects. On her journey across uncharted lands, you'll encounter hostile regions ravaged by massive storms and occupied by dangerous enemies and deadly machines. She also discovers a vast array of environments and ecosystems, including lush valleys, dry deserts, snowy mountains, tropical beaches, and ruined cities, both above and below the water. This is one of Sony's flagship exclusive titles to show off the power of the PS5, but it can also be played on the PS4. Set out for adventure, explore distant lands, fight bigger and more awe-inspiring machines, and encounter new tribes as you return to the far future post-apocalyptic world on February 18th. Coming in at number 5 is Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, an action role-playing first-person shooter developed by Gearbox Software and published by 2K Games. You know, those twisted minds that gave us the Borderlands series. This fantasy spin-off looks more like neon-colored D&D with guns. Players will choose from 6 different character classes, and for the first time will be able to mix and match their skills. And as expected, the players will have a massive arsenal of firearms at their disposal and wield melee weapons. So far, we only know a few of the playable classes, such as Berserkers, a frost-infused bruiser who complements their firepower with an onslaught of brutal, up-close and personal melee attacks. Clawbringers, faithful warriors who bring down the thunder and flames upon their enemies with a spectral hammer alongside their fire-breathing companion. Spellshots, who can unleash a constant barrage of spells and bullets and transform their enemies into harmless livestock with the snap of a finger. Stabomacers, sneaky assassins who summon magic whirling blades to the battlefield and disappear into the shadows at will. More is set to be revealed as the game nears its release date March 25th on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC.
At number 4, we have Gran Turismo 7. For some, this series is the pinnacle of the simulated racing experience, giving hardcore couch racers every tool possible to customize, tune, and race till their heart's content. It's been practically a decade since the franchise's last installment back in December 2013, and after the original announcement, the game was supposed to be released in early 2021. But then the world imploded and it suffered delays much like so many others. Every time we get to see something new on this upcoming title, it looks amazing. I know a few people that have this at their number 1 most anticipated of the year. Thankfully, the wait is nearly over and you can finally return to the track on March 4th. Even if you didn't get a PS5 for Christmas, you can play it on the PS4. And yes, it's racing wheel compatible. We checked.
Moving on to number 3 is Dying Light 2, Stay Human. It's a zombie apocalypse-themed action open-world role-playing survival horror game in a massive urban city, developed and published by Techland. Set 20 years after the first Dying Light, you play as Aiden Caldwell, who is equipped with various parkour skills, such as climbing ledges, sliding, and wall running to quickly navigate the city. Players use melee and ranged weapons such as crowbars, shotguns, and spears to combat the undead. First announced at E3 in 2018 and was set for release of spring of 2020. It was delayed indefinitely. It has recently re-emerged and with the hope of hitting its release date on February 4th. It will be playable on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and even Switch. At number 2 is Starfield. This is the first new universe in 25 years for developer Bethesda Game Studios. This first-person, role-playing, single-player, space-themed adventure was formally announced during Bethesda's E3 press conference in 2018. Little is known about the game other than a short in-game teaser trailer that was presented at E3 2021, during the combined Microsoft-Bethesda press event, which confirmed the game's release date and showed off the new game engine. Since then, info has been slowly released about what you can expect from this game. In true Bethesda fashion, it's a quest-based decision exploration adventure set in the year 2330. You are the newest recruit of the organization known as Constellation in the Settled Systems. They are committed to uncovering the mysteries of the galaxy. During your missions, you will come across all manner of other factions like the United Colonies, the Freestar Collective, and even the pirates of the Crimson Fleet. Are you ready for life among the stars? Prepare for Blast Off November 11th on Xbox and PC. Before we get to our number one, we'd like to take a moment for a few honorable mentions. These are games that would have been high on our list, but because they didn't have confirmed release dates, they did not make the cut. First up, we have God of War Ragnarok. This much anticipated follow-up to the hit success of the 2018's relaunch from Santa Monica Studios and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. This time, Kratos and his son Atreus are searching for answers to his identity as Loki, also to try and prevent Ragnarok from taking place. This action-adventure game was, like most everything else, delayed, but is slated to finally be available on PS4 and 5 sometime in 2022, but we just don't know when yet. Also, we have Nightingale, a Victorian-styled open-world survival crafting game that came out of almost nowhere at the recent Game Awards. It's being created by ex-BioWare developers. Players will traverse forests, swamps, deserts, and more, gathering supplies and building settlements, all while fending off and making allies with all manner of fantasy creatures. You can currently sign up for their live alpha testing at the link in the description below. And lastly, but certainly not leastly, is Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. Its predecessor was a breakout hit from 2017, surprising everyone with its amazing visuals and intriguing narrative. Continue the story a couple of years later as Senua on her journey to rescue the soul of her lover from the goddess Hela. Every time new info or images are released, it gets everyone's attention. We are excited to see what else developer Ninja Theory has in store for us sometime in 2022. And finally at number one, we have Diablo Immortal, a free-to-play mobile game because we all have phones, so everyone can enjoy this microtransaction extravaganza. Wait, what? Who wrote this? No, I'm not reading this. It's Elden Ring. Our number one most anticipated game is Elden Ring. Come on guys, get it together. Elden Ring is the twisted love child from the minds of George R.R. Martin and FromSoft. It's an action role-playing game played in a third-person perspective and features elements similar to that found in its predecessors, the Souls series, as well as Bloodborne and Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. Gameplay is focused on combat and exploration, but unlike the games that came before it, this is set in a massive open world. Players will traverse the land known as the Realm of the Lands Between and find all the great runes, restore the Elden Ring, and become the Elden Lord. We've all been looking forward to this one ever since it was first revealed at E3 back in 2019. And after a couple of years of silence and delays, we now know more about Elden Ring than ever before, including its official release date of February 25th. Looks amazing and brutal, and it will be available on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. Well, that about wraps it up for this one. Now we know everyone's list might be different, and you could have some of these higher or even lower on your list. Heck, you might even have a few titles that we didn't even mention. So, how about you hop down into the comment section and tell us your list? We sure would love to see it. Or you could jump over to our Discord and speak to us directly. Over there, we have lots of fun nerds from all walks of life, and you can debate how you think Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song is going to change your life. Links are down in the description. And if you enjoyed what we did here, please take a moment and hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. We have lots of fun stuff headed out soon, and you won't want to miss it. But until next time, as always, stay nerdy, folks.